Hello and welcome back to First Look Asia. Bicycle sharing systems, they've been around for over 50 years, but they've become significantly more popular over the last decade.
There are now over 1,000 bike sharing systems around the world. Figures from 2015 show there were about 1 million bike share bicycles out on sidewalks and streets around the world, with about 3/4 of them in China.
Now, all of this has been sped up with the use of technology like RFID chips, GPS, QR codes, and mobile apps. And here to tell us more and to shed light on the future of bike sharing are Professor Park Byung-jun, the Senior Lecturer at Singapore University of Social Sciences, and the oBikeAsia General Manager, Elgin Yi. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Professor Park, let's start with you. Why has there been an explosion in bike sharing systems?
Also, there is a need for the bicycle sharing is one part, but also this is exactly how the business grow in China. So when the Chinese companies start expanding it, they're expanding it very, very quickly, and adding like the 3 million bicycle at the moment for the leading companies, and they're doing the exact same business model here.
I see.
And Elgin, what was the thinking behind oBike when you started it? What was the concept?
I think we look at Singapore, and then we look at how we as a local company can help alleviate the transport headaches of the government itself, and also help the residents here getting around more easily. So we're looking at first mile and last mile transport solutions. So and at the same time, government is proactive in promoting cycling. So that's where actually we saw the opportunity and a window to actually come into to start up in Singapore and to roll out this. Yeah.
But Professor Park, do you feel that using apps and not needing a docking station for those bikes will change things as well? What are some of the pros and cons?
Docking station is actually the structure, so which means that you need to have some kind of a planning, and also that you are using some land to build up your own structure, which means that you have to work with the government in terms of the planning and so on. So it takes some time, and it takes a lot longer and so on.
And we know land is scarce in Singapore as well.
Exactly. And also another one is that it kind of limit the where you can find your bicycle in a way. So in terms of the accessibility, this what they are doing at the moment is the much easier access. So that's the one way to kind of improve the accessibility to the bicycles.
What do you feel, Elgin, is key to ensuring that those who use the bikes come back for more, and that they treat these bikes with respect and they put them in places where they should be put?
Ultimately, I think it works both ways. I think for us as an operator, we have certain responsibility to ensure that the users treat the bikes responsibly. Then at the same time, we have to work well with government bodies and the different government agencies to ensure that they send out the correct message to riders to let them know how to treat bikes. If you want to get this whole national cycling program moving forward, what things important things that we have to do, what the important aspects, like you have to consider safe cycling. You have to look at how any indiscriminate parking will affect your environment, will affect the beautiness of the city itself. Yeah.
And we have seen that already with a lot of bikes. I know we were in our editorial meeting yesterday, and people just listing all the places we've seen them. Bus stops, just
they obstruct movement of pedestrians.
Does this make you think you need to have docks and certain places
maybe
where people should park?
For people who don't park them where they should?
I think for now we are working with authorities to see how that certain regulations. I think authorities are thinking of regulations. I would think so in the long run. Thinking of how they can regulate this matter. I think for us as operators, we look at how we can make use. For example, we have just launched our point system, credit system, so that we can incentivize users to park properly, and also at the same time deduct points from users who did not park their bikes properly. So we are looking actually all these reward systems to actually correct the good behavior from people.
Or encourage good behavior.
Correct.
Professor Park, do you think this form of action and then regulation is something that other nations who want to adopt a bike sharing system should implement?
If you look at a European system, which is mainly based on the docking system, they seldom have this kind of issue. But the thing is, if you look at China, honestly, it's a little bit out of control because you see a lot of the photo in the media that thousands of bicycles are just piled up together, and it's hard.
3 million, right?
Actually, the 3 million is owned by the one company, one leading company, and the second company is also the number is somewhere like 2 million to 3 million there, and they are expanding really explosive speed. And when you have that many bicycles in that such short period of time, then of course it will be some kind of a chaos in terms of the parking the bicycle. So right now, the Singapore, we are very early stage. So that's why that we didn't see that much problem yet, but it's more of just a nuisance here and there.
Right.
But when this number reaches for a certain level, then we think a little more seriously about how to regulate this parking of the bicycles.
All right, bike sharing 101. Can you give us really quick tips on the proper etiquette when it comes to using these bikes? Say, someone's never done it before and they've seen how people treat these bicycles. What should they be doing?
I think, as a user of the bike itself, when you first start using the bike sharing service, I think when you just unlock the bike itself, you should check, of course, the brakes and everything to ensure that the bike is in good condition before you ride off. So after you ride off the bike itself, after you finish your trip, make sure that you find a correct public bike designated public bike parking area, and then to park your bike and ensure that it's not blocking any pedestrian walkways and creating a nuisance. I think that's the main thing that we pedestrians or riders should look out for. Yeah, and then I think from then on, if you spot any riders indiscriminate parking, actually through our app itself, you can take photo, you can report other users who did not park properly.
So vigilantism.
Yes. Yeah.
I just hope people don't sweat over the bicycles.
Yeah.
That's gross.
I think ultimately it takes both. It takes the effort from operators and riders, and of course the government itself. I think for three parties to work together to make this bike sharing scheme work in Singapore, and to ensure that it doesn't go out of control like in some other countries.
Okay, well, Professor Park, a quick question for you. Singapore is a hot tropical climate. Do you think something like bike sharing in this environment will be feasible?
Well, the thing is, if we compare to the Taipei and Taiwan, then about 5 or 6% of the total trips are done by the bicycle. And Singapore, the number is like 1.5% or so. So, it's very hot weather and so on. But in terms of the ridership for the bicycle, I think there are some room for the growth.
Okay. What do you think is in the future of bike sharing in this industry as a whole, not just for your organization?
I think bike sharing is the way to go. I think now, I think moving in future, I think a lot more countries, a lot more people are more conscious of environmental issues. I think it's the way to go to move into a car-lite society.
Car-lite,
Yeah, I think that's the main focus of us. I mean, what we hope to achieve, getting people to depend less on cars. I think especially when Singapore has limited space, I think Singapore can be a model city for a lot of other small cities to show how we can be car-lite, not dependent on car, and that will really reduce a lot of the traffic conditions that we've seen in other big cities.
Oh yeah, but do you have any other plans to take oBike elsewhere?
I think there are already plans to take oBike in some of the countries in Southeast Asia, so we are looking at that currently. Yeah.
Okay, maybe one day you'll see Teresa and I cycling into work, trying to look glamorous, but ugh. Anyway, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you.
We were speaking with Professor Park Byung-Jun from the Singapore University of Social Sciences and oBikeAsia General Manager Elgin Yi, talking about, of course, bike sharing systems and also how we can make them better and what its future may be.
With me and Teresa on a bike. That's right. Anyway, that's First Look Asia done for today.